To another Schoolscape online webinar. The purpose of these webinars is to help take schools online. So today, another very relevant topic, SACE Points, CPTD. I always get a bit tongue-tied around that one, but welcome everyone. Paige, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having us, or having me. Sorry, I talk on behalf of my team, but yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, so everyone, we have Paige from Get SACE Points, who I think at the moment is one of the leaders in helping schools with SACE requirements. I know today we've got a lot to get through, and I know a lot of people are looking forward to seeing how you can actually earn 20 points off watching webinars like this one. So we're going to get to a live demo, but before we do that, we've got a couple of questions. So Paige, first up, are school staff members and teachers still expected to earn CPTD points during this period?
You got it right, Pete. Well done. So the answer is yes. Even during lockdown, teachers and schools need to continue to earn their CPTD points. As some of you may be aware, the SACE offices are closed, but that does not mean that the CPCD portal on the SACE website is not working. It's fully up and running. We are still assisting our schools with loading their school points. And funny enough, the day before lockdown, I actually spoke to Mr. Twala, who is the head of professional development at SACE, and we have a very good working relationship. And he said to me, please encourage all the teachers in schools that you are in contact with to please continue reporting their CPTD points, because as soon as lockdown ends, even in the gradual process, it's still something that's up and running, and many, all educators, teachers, you know, deputies, heads, they're all in the cycle. So yeah, the answer at the end of the day is yes, all teachers must earn their professional development points.
Okay, resounding yes, brilliant. Before I get on to just understanding the cycles, because I know that's very confusing, to all of our live viewers, on the right of your screen, you will see a chat and a questions tab. It's great to see everyone saying hi on that side. If you have any questions, we ask please that you pop them into the question section, and what we will do is we will make time at the end of this webinar to go through those questions. So please pop them in there. Paige, you've spoken about cycles. Can you please remind us of how many points a staff member needs during a cycle?
Yeah, so if some of you aren't aware, that the CPTD system actually started in 2014, so it's already been running for 6 years. So most of you are actually on your second cycle. SACE didn't make it very easy that anyone in education is on the same cycle. They actually did it in stages. So if you are a principal, a headmaster, or a deputy principal or vice, or you are a teacher in the prep school or the primary school phase, you are actually in the cycle that started in 2020 to 2022. So you actually started your second cycle this year, and it goes on for the next 3 years. Every cycle is 3 years. Then if you are an HOD, you're actually in the second year of your cycle. No, the last year of your cycle. You started in 2018 and you finish in 2020. And then if you are a high school or a combined school teacher, your cycle started in 2019 and it ended in 2021. It's going to end in 2021. So in those cycles, you have to earn 150 points in that 3-year cycle. Now, again, it's great. I hope you all got it in all the marketing that we did. But for today's session, you're going to earn 20 points as part of your 150 points, which is great already. And please, I need to stress this, 150 points is so easy to achieve. And SACE were actually really kind when they said, oh, we only actually have to get a minimum of 150 points. But you will probably find as a teacher, you will get more than 150 points. But just briefly, just to quickly explain, there's 3 different types of activities. So you have to earn your 150 points across 3 types of activities. Type 1 being a teacher-initiated activity. So that's anything that you as a teacher have decided to do. For example, like today. Then you get
Nice.
type 2, which is school initiated. So that's your staff meetings, your extra sport after school, your maths meetings, your grade meetings, your phase meetings. That is all school initiated, which is type 2. And then you get type 3, which is external initiated. So any SACE provider that offers workshops, online courses, that type of thing, that is a type 3. And just to let you know, you don't need to get 50 across each type. You need a minimum of 10. So you'll probably find that you'll get most points as in the school initiated category, then the teacher initiated category, and then finally your type 3.
Okay, that's brilliant. Paige, we've got a poll on the right of your screen. You will see there is a new poll that should get published in 3, 2, 1. There we go. So just for us, we'd love to find out, are you on track to earn enough CPTD points for your cycle across all 3 different types of activities? There's yes, no, and the third option is don't have a clue. If you don't have a clue, then it's good that you are here. Paige, thank you for explaining that. I think a good follow-on question from that would be, how can a teacher who's working from home then actually, you mentioned some are staff orientated, there's those different areas. What are some of the things that teachers or staff members from home could do now to keep their points up?
Yeah, I mean, all the schools that we work with, we often send them things that they can do. And this has been a big question on our Facebook page and our Instagram page. What can actually we do while we're at home? So, you know, there are so many things that you can do. So like example, webinars. Obviously today's webinar, and you can join all the other Schoolscape webinars. So that's 20 points each time. But bearing in mind that'll be teacher initiated. Then you can read blogs, you can read educational articles, you can listen to TED Talks, you can do online courses. There are so many online courses. I mean, I speak on behalf of ourselves as a company, Get SACE Points. We have some incredible online courses that falls in the type 3 category. But yeah, I mean, we've got blogs on our website that you can read. Any development that you do as a teacher. You know, I know that many of you are doing remote learning. You've had to investigate perhaps how to work on Zoom, or, you know, investigate new learning materials. All that is part of your development. So you can use that as part of your 150 points. So it's really so simple. Okay,
so they've actually made it really achievable and easy in trying to get that. You can even watch TED Talks and get points. I think that's great. And I think there's a lot of teachers out there that are doing a lot of additional training as schools are going online. Paige, how can Get SACE Points, your company, help schools and staff earn? I know you've mentioned a couple of things. Down a bit more on what you offer.
Yeah, I mean, our team, we're all educators, so we've all been in the teaching space for a very long time, so that also helps. So we've all been on your side, being in schools, and we are in schools discussing different, you know, situations every single week. And, you know, we work across all the 9 provinces. So I would suggest that, you start looking at perhaps one of our workshops. That's a CPTD workshop that will literally run you through in more detail of what CPTD actually means. You can do our online courses. You know, you can be part of our, you can just enroll with us, and we will send you a monthly newsletter of new things that you can do towards your professional development. So, you know, with regard to the type 1, type 2, type 3, the list is endless. But we are always an email or WhatsApp away for us to assist you, because at the end of the day, we as educators, that's who we are. And we just want to assist you all in getting your CPTD, because we are so passionate about professional development for teachers. So we can assist you. Our online courses are phenomenal. We don't just put any online course there. It takes us a real long time to actually choose a course which we think is appropriate for teachers. I mean, you can earn anything between 5 to 15 CPTD points at a time. And they're not long courses. They range from 2 hours to 5 hours. And it's really as simple as going onto our website, enrolling, and doing a course. That's really how simple it is. And that will count towards your type 3. I know I'm speaking a lot about type of points and, you know, profiles, etc. While I do have you all here, I just want to just put this out there. We are running a webinar next week, which will basically run you through, it's basically our CPTD workshop that we actually do for schools. It's a free webinar. That's perhaps something that you can, you know, enroll yourself in. And again, you'll earn your 20 CPTD points. So just being in today and being in next week's webinar, that's 40 points already out of your 150. But just remember, that's only in the teacher-initiated category. So we still need to get in type 2 and type 3.
Okay, fantastic. What we will do, Paige, is we'll share your email address at the end, so anyone can contact, get more info and all of those links. Paige, maybe a question that would be more relevant for management, kind of senior management at a school. What would you recommend that they do to help all of their staff just stay compliant with SACE Points during this?
I mean, what we say to all our schools and the management team, we say set your staff one thing a week. So send them a blog, send them, you know, a relevant article, send them a link to a TED talk. Just one thing a week can actually add to your professional development, and it can be something so simple. Also, you know, what I suggest you do is that you remember the weekly meetings. I know that many schools that we're in discussions with, they're still having Skype or Zoom meetings with their staff once a week. That actually counts towards your professional development. So anything that you as a staff are doing, and that's what I'm saying, it's so simple to get you 150 points. Anything that you as staff are doing, not obviously the day-to-day teaching is and the marking or whatever, that's a standard, that's part of your job. But anything extra, that is development in itself. You know, something simple, if you're looking at a new behavioral chart or you know, reading up about a diabetic child, that's all development and adding to your teaching. So anything that you do out of your teaching and marking is development. So that's something that you can certainly do. You know, whilst you are in lockdown, you can think of all the development that you're currently doing and have done in the past.
Brilliant. I think that's very helpful. I think that's helpful for teachers and management. You know, you get up to speed quite quickly. I quite like that. Once a week, just aim to do one thing, will get you up. Maybe Paige, if you can just address how many online courses do you have? How do they go about? Do they do it on? Well, obviously they do it online. How do they do it? Is it paid? Is it free? Maybe just a bit more info on that.
Okay, so yeah, as a type 3 provider, coming back to the different types of activities, we're a type 3 provider, which basically means that we're SACE accredited. All our courses have to go through an evaluation process with SACE to stipulate if our courses are reputable for educators in South Africa. So currently we have 250 SACE accredited courses where you can actually enroll simply on our website. You can scroll through all the 250 courses that we have available. We've got information on each course, how many points there are, the duration of the courses, and you simply can click and enroll. What we also do is if you've got staff and this, because obviously I don't want to add to your workload. So the list of courses is extensive, but if there's a particular area that you go, oh, I really want to develop my staff in, email our team. We know the courses on the back of our hand. So we'll email you and suggest these are the 4 or 2 or whatever courses we suggest you do as per your email or request on a particular area that you wish to develop your staff in. I mean, our courses, they sort of are in categories. So we have, you know, health and safety, we have computer literacy, equality and diversity, management and compliance, social awareness, safety and awareness. So yeah, personal development. And we're adding to our course bundle every month. But unfortunately, as SACE is on lockdown too, we can't send more activities for accreditation. But as soon as those have come back with the accreditation, then we will put them on our platform.
Okay, brilliant. I'm actually just posting in the chat function now your email address. So if anyone wants to find out more about the courses or to get onto the webinar that you're running next week, Paige, they can jump on that. I know you did mention you can only take 50 people for that webinar, and I think you've over 30 spaces taken. So I would recommend you email as soon as possible. Paige, I think it's now time, and I think what's most relevant for everyone as well, how do they earn their 20 points for this webinar? And I know you said you're a demo, so over to you.
Absolutely. Yeah, so hooray, you guys can start earning your 20 points. What I want to do is to actually show you, I mean, I'll be honest, when I was a teacher, I never went into the SACE website at all. Now I'm on it obviously every single day because that's what, that's our business. And strangely enough, they do update the website quite often. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to hop onto the website to actually demo how you can record your points. Now, what I must emphasize is you need to have created a teacher profile beforehand. If you don't know if you've got a teacher profile, contact us and we can search the database as we have access to it. If you sort of unsure, I really highly recommend you join the webinar next week because we will literally run you through how to actually create your profile. But let me just share my screen very quickly. Okay, I'm just sharing my screen.
Thanks, Paige. While you're doing that, I think just for the schools that are listening in, we've worked with the Get SACE team for a long time, and we can highly recommend them. So if you do need help, they are the right people to talk to when it comes to this area. Back to you, Paige.
Thanks, Pete. I just want to double check. Can you all see the SACE website?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay, so if you don't know, and please don't feel bad if you don't know what the website is, but the website is sace.org.za, and there are many different tabs. I know that, as a teacher, the admin is just so huge, so I'm not going to bother you with any of these other tabs. The most important tab is the CPTD IS, and you click on that. And this will basically take you to the CPTD, basically they call it the portal. So this is the CPTD portal. If you have a profile already, you will go to login. Sorry, 2 seconds. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, 2 seconds.
Sure, no problem. Just while Paige is doing that, we did.
Okay, so
oh, sorry. Here we go. You continue, Paige.
no, okay. So basically, if your username is your, I'm just going to go run through that. Sorry, because it got stuck. Basically, your username is your SACE number, and your password. So that's my SACE number. So none of you can use it. But your password is generally your SACE number again, or it's your surname with a capital letter. And then you go to something simple as login. And now this is my CPTD profile. It's actually called my teacher profile. You can load your CPTD points, your teacher-initiated points on your profile. Again, there are many tabs. The most important tab is the educator tab. You go to the educator tab and you go to record your points. And this is what I'd like you all to do after today's webinar, to actually load the webinar. You go to search. Now, please do not type anything in there. It does not work and it will not be loaded. Rather go to the search button. And then here is a whole list of your teacher-initiated points. The category that we're looking at today is called undertaking research in teaching. That's actually what they use for the webinar, and you will see you will earn your 20 points. So you click on that. Then you obviously choose today's date, and I'm just going to say CPTD webinar. I know us as teachers, we're quite wordy people. We like to write a lot here for summary, and this is obviously a mandatory field. Please don't write a long essay because SACE do not read it. Rather just be as short and sweet as possible, like I've done CPTD webinar. And then I'm actually going to click submit. And that's as simple as it is.
Wow.
That's I've recorded. If I actually go to educator now, you can go to your points account, where you can actually clearly see that it has been recorded. So that's the one there. That was the webinar that I did last week. So, and it will clearly state here, your teacher-initiated points are, that's what I'm sitting at currently. So that's really as simple as it is. So again, record your points, and then you go and fill it in. And I just want to remind you, the one that you're looking for is undertaking, researching, and learning. That's the category you must choose when you choose the search button. Okay.
Brilliant.
Hope that has helped.
Okay.
Perfect. I'm just going to stop
Paige,
sharing.
that's fantastic. So if anyone's viewed more than one webinar, can they go back and historically put down what they've done, and how far can they go back?
I'm so glad you asked that question, because that is something that I forgot to mention. Absolutely. If you want to go and backdate any professional development that you have done, you are by all means you can go and backdate. But please also be mindful, if your cycle only started at the beginning of this year, then only backdate till January 2020. But obviously, if you are an HOD and you're in your last year of your cycle, if you can remember things that you did in 2018, 2019, by all means you can go and backdate. Okay,
brilliant. Paige, we're now going to move on to some questions. We've got quite a few that have come through. A lot of people asking for links. Please email that email address I put in the chat functionality. We'll also make it available to you afterwards. One of the questions here, how do you register someone on SACE? The website is not user-friendly. And it says, so maybe if you could just give the general steps. I know that is something you're going to discuss in your webinar next week.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be, sorry, I don't know the person who wrote that question, but, you know, we get, obviously, on a monthly basis, we get the SACE website is not user-friendly. I can assure you that the CPCD portal is 100% user-friendly. I mean, we're on it. All our teachers are on it on a weekly basis. So that portal is 100% up to date. The other tabs on the SACE website perhaps are not, but I do know that the CPTD portal is 100% working up to date. And I promise you, it will become a lot more user-friendly the more you work on it. So if you haven't created a profile, where I showed you where log in is, that button, there's actually a button next to it that says sign up. You literally click on the sign up button and you can go and put in all your credentials there. And you're not going to be waiting for an email from SACE with your username and password. It will pop up straight away once you've created your profile. But I highly recommend you join our webinar, because we will run through that whole process very, very quickly with you.
Brilliant. Paige, this is such a specific question. Leanne says, I write the concert. Where does this fit in? Can they get points for that?
Absolutely. If you write a concert, that takes a lot of hours. So yeah, I mean, as you can imagine, I mean, I would say that's a school-initiated activity, because it's something, you know, that your school has, even though it's come from you, but you're doing it for a school production, I gather. So that would be a school-initiated activity, and you can then load it as a school-initiated activity. I mean, the list of the type 1 and type 2 activities is endless. So you're going to have to choose a category that best suits what you have done. It might not be there. I don't know off the top of my head, because that's the first time I've been asked about writing a production. But if you can, email us and I can look for the category for you. Alternatively, it will show up the list of activities. Yeah, you're just going to have to choose one that best suits what you have done.
Okay.
Hope that answers your question.
Paige, next question. It says, it's a really good question, because it follows. It says, do we have to submit evidence for our teacher-initiated actions? What is acceptable as evidence?
I must say, Pete, these are great questions, and it's clearly evident that some of you have been on the portal, so well done. With regards to evidence for teacher-initiated activities, last year, you had to actually add evidence for your teacher-initiated activities, but we have found this year that it's something that doesn't need to be done. School-initiated activities, I know 100% you have to add evidence, but type 1 activities, teacher-initiated, currently you don't have to add evidence. We do meet SACE every 3 to 4 months, so that was one of our questions. we had planned to meet them just before lockdown. So that was one of the questions I was going to ask them this year. I see that, you know, teacher-initiated activity, you don't need to add evidence, it's just pulling through. But as soon as I do have an answer, yeah, we will put it on our website. But yeah, currently, you don't need to add evidence for teacher-initiated, but school-initiated activities, you 100% have to.
Okay, brilliant. Paige, next question. We struggle a lot to get assistance from SACE. Some teacher profiles are blocked and they can't log in to submit points. During a year, some teacher points will go away for some reason. How can I, as the school's SACE coordinator, address this issue to solve it for them?
Yeah, I mean, with regards to the CPTD profiles being locked, it's really so simple to unlock them. I mean, I know as a company, we do have a working relationship with many people at SACE, so they assist us in an instant. If you are one of our contracted schools, we can assist you and sort it out straight away. Alternatively, it's very simple. You can contact SACE. I mean, I know I say it's very simple, and you're all, you know, teaching throughout the day, and to get SACE at a good time. Generally, the time starts between 8 and 10 in the morning, which I know most of you are teaching. But that's when we have a lady that works in the CPT office who assists us with unlocking those profiles relatively quickly. But you do have to contact SACE to unlock them. I would suggest you don't email them. You actually give them a call.
Okay, thank you.
And their number is on the website.
Brilliant. A question coming in from Wayne. This is on your online courses. What type of assessments do your courses entail? Narratives, assignments, multiple choice?
Yeah, good question. We like to make it easy for you, so it's very simple. It's all multiple choice questions. So during the actual courses, we might give you a case study, and there might be various little questions that you answer. But at the end of each online course, there is a multiple choice quiz that ranges between 5 and 10 questions. And you have to get 80% and above. But if you don't, then you can always just go back and complete the quiz again.
Cool. Thank you. There's a question here which I found quite interesting. Student teachers, when did their cycle start? And the person says, student teachers, when did their cycle start? I'm provisionally registered and work at a school. So how do things apply for student teachers?
Yeah, for student teachers, it's exactly the same. If you're a student teacher and you are teaching at a primary school, then your cycle started this year and ends in 2022. If you're a student teacher that's working in a high school, your cycle started in 2019. So it just depends on which school you are actually working at. And regardless of if you've got a provisional number, a foreign number, a conditional number, you can all be registered on the CPTD portal and start earning your points. But it's basically linked to the establishment that you're working at and what cycle that school is on.
Thank you. Paige, I think we're going to have a couple more questions because we're nearly out of time, but let's keep going. Question here, and I think it's relevant to and follows on with that. Has this changed? i.e., you are no longer a head of department. How is this tracked? Do you have to inform SACE of change status? How does that work?
Yeah, great. Again, a great question, which is something that we cover in our webinar, but I'll happily answer it quickly. So if you, for example, are a primary school teacher and you became an HOD sort of say next year, for example. So you will basically, what will happen is you will hop onto the HOD cycle when the new HOD cycle starts. So you can change the status on the Educator tab very simply. But for example, if you became an HOD this year, you will finish the year this year, and because the HOD cycle starts next year, you will then hop onto the new HOD cycle. So it just depends on the new your new status. When that particular cycle starts, you will just start brand new, and when that cycle continues.
Thank you.
I hope that answers the question.
I see the questions are coming through fast and furiously. We're never going to get through them, but we've had a couple of questions around sport. Spending time outside a sports field, coaching and taking teams to their games. Can we get points? And what category do they need to register?
Yeah, 100% you can get points. There's actually a category on the school initiative. You take it as a school initiated because that's something that the school, it's, you know, it's a requirement that teachers do take part in extracurricular portfolio. So that is a school initiated activity. So you will just load your time that you have spent on the school profile for any, you know, sport that you've done. If it's a Saturday, if it's an afternoon, and there is a category there that says extracurricular. We've actually just loaded it for a particular school for the whole of term 1. So yes, and I think if I can remember correctly, you will get 20 points for each term.
Okay. Wow. All right. So once a term, they should just upload that.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I think we're going to have one more question and then we'll close. Is it possible for teachers school-initiated activities for the school need to enter those?
So when we met with SACE, I think it was last year, October, that was a question that sort of we asked them. We said, what is your take on it? And SACE were very they emphasized that basically teachers need to take ownership for their own learning. So it's up to teachers to load all their teacher-initiated points. It's then up to the school to load all the school-initiated points. So those are two different profiles altogether. Hence why it's important when you do create your teacher profile that your profile is actually linked to your school that you're currently teaching. And again, we will go into more detail on our webinar next week, but it's actually up to the school. At the end of the day, it's up to the school. We do assist schools because it can be quite a labor-intensive job to leave for one person at a school to load all the school-initiated points. But yeah, I highly recommend that teachers don't go onto the school profile because they can mess up loading and it just messes up the profile. It generally is up to 1 or 2 people to have the staff, the school-initiated activity login details and for them to actually log it themselves.
Okay, brilliant. Paige, I have to ask 2 more quick questions. One is actually from my side, I think it's relevant, but the first is, what happens if you only manage to collect part of your CPD points and not the full 150 over the 3 years?
I've been waiting for that question. It normally pops up in the first 5 minutes. So thanks for that. So yeah, as I mentioned, you know, the CPTD portfolio started in 2014 and it was sort of rolled out incrementally. So what SACE has decided now is they are actually going to stipulate from this year that anyone that does not complete the 150 points in their next cycle, they are going to be deregistered from the SACE site, and they will have to reapply for their SACE registration. So it actually contravenes Section 7 of SACE's regulations, and I'm not going to read Section 7, but basically that is being SACE registered, or being a teacher in South Africa, you have to be SACE registered, and being SACE registered, you have to be part of the CPTD portfolio. So like I've mentioned, there's no excuse for not earning your 150 points in 3 years. There really isn't. And SACE, I have heard, have started fining schools, in particular teachers. But the one thing that I have stipulated is that they will just deregister you from the SACE site. Therefore, you can't actually teach at a school. And then if you would like to reapply, you have to reapply and start the whole process with your SACE registration again. So again, that's more money and it's a long process. So I would highly recommend you don't go down that road.
Paige, and this question is from my side. I'm just looking at all of these questions and it sounds like you are very in touch. And maybe we can just close with this. How do you have a service where you support schools with this kind of stuff? Is that something that Get SACE Points you as a company can do? Because I think it might be relevant for you just to share on that now.
Yes, thanks, Pete. Yeah, so we as a company, we assist schools, and I see some of our teachers are here today, so thank you for joining and lovely to have you here. So we do assist schools in loading all their school-initiated activities. what we do on a monthly basis. I mean, something so simple as schools send us their school calendar for the term, and we simply upload anything that's school initiated on their profile. And then at the end of each month, we send the school a report with all the teachers' names, their type 1, their type 2, their type 3, and their total amount of CPTD points. Part of that services, we also send out monthly newsletters, any updates. We assist them in unlocking profiles. We basically look after the SACE and CPTD portfolio. I mean, we help them with new teachers or perhaps teachers currently with their SACE registration. So we literally will look after them and get their school and teachers SACE and CPTD compliant.
Brilliant. You have been absolutely amazing. Just for everyone, our poll has come back. 1% they are on track to earn their points. 26% said no, they are not on track, and 42% said they don't have a clue. So hopefully this webinar would have helped them a bit with that. Just a reminder, if you would like to get hold of Paige and her team, you can email them. We will make the email address available, but it is ed@getsacepoints.co.za. I'm pasting it at the bottom here again for everyone in the chat functionality. It will also, if you live streaming it at a later stage of YouTube, you'll be able to grab it. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate this.
Pleasure. And yeah, lovely to have you all here. And if there is anything, I mean, also on our website, we've got lots of frequently asked questions of things that we have run through today if you do forget. So our website is getsacepoints.co.za. You can always hop on there and have a look. But yeah, we are just an email away, so please do contact us.
Brilliant. So that just a reminder, that is getsacepoints.co.za. Paige, thank you. You've been fantastic.
Thanks.
That was very useful.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Cheers, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.